Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We are just 3 weeks away from kicking things off inside of Neyland Stadium. The electricity, the excitement, there is a buzz in the air when it comes to football on Rocky Top, and it's not just us. It's not just the diehards, the psychotic people that are obsessed with Tennessee football 365 days a year. No, it's everybody. It is the national media. They are starting to take notice of Josh Heupel and this football team going into the 2022 season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You know, just recently I made a video. Greg McElroy called this Tennessee offense, said it was possibly unstoppable. There's also the comments, the quotes from Roman Harper saying that Tennessee is going to beat either Alabama or Georgia in this 2022 football season. Now we've got 24/7 Sports projecting college football's 10 best offenses for 2022, and Tennessee is up there towards the top of the list. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, but as always, make sure you do me a favor and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. For the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I promised you guys a fan call-in show, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But we're going to kick things off first at 7 o'clock. Eric Kane from VolQuest.com is going to be joining me for about 20 minutes. We're going to talk about fall camp. We're going to talk about the scrimmages taking place, and we're going to break it down for you guys live on air for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to move into a fan call-in show. You guys will have an opportunity to come on and voice your opinions. But let's jump into it. Let's talk a little bit more about this national media shining a spotlight on Josh Heupel and this offense for 2022. First, let's hear what Josh Pate had to say.
2.99 plays per minute. They're going to run a ton of plays. He's going to touch the ball a whole lot. So there are just more decisions that Hinden Hooker has to make on an average Saturday. And then you extrapolate that number out over, hopefully for him, 12 games. You see how his name, even in that column of quarterbacks, is just a little bit more important. Also, there's more weight on his shoulders. Offense has to carry more of the load at Tennessee than it does elsewhere. He'll be asked to do way more. They think he's fully capable of it. 31-3 touchdown to interception ratio guy last year. Also, and here's where he impacts the rest of the sport, they play Pitt in week 2. So he could go up there and he could not only shake Pitt in terms of, and I know this is a stretch, in terms of any playoff resume the Panthers may have, but it also serves to give us a good taste of what Pitt is this year. You know, it serves to give us a nice preview of how they may fare in ACC play by watching what they can or can't do against Hinden Hooker and Tennessee. But also, this is a team in Tennessee every year. You know they play Bama. You know they play Georgia. One of only a precious few teams who play both of them. But also, Tennessee goes to LSU this year. So there's a really good chance to do some things in the ACC or to an ACC team. You got a couple of shots at SEC Western Division teams, high profile in nature. You got the Georgia game. You also got Heisman conversation if you start to get deeper in the season and those numbers start to rack up in a pinball manner.
A lot to unpack there from Josh Pate. Heisman Trophy talk for Hinden Hooker. Talking about this coaching staff, putting a lot more on him being ready for that, him ready to take another step. You know, something that excites me about Hinden Hooker, when you look at his numbers from last year, not only was his completion percentage high, at 68.2%, that is a very good completion percentage. But when you look at his average yards per attempt, 9.8 yards, they take a lot of shots downfield for Hinden Hooker to have such a high accuracy, high completion percentage. I'm excited about this offense in 2022, but it's not just us. Again, the national media starting to take notice, talking about that Pitt game, talking about going on the road to LSU. It's been a long time since Tennessee was nationally relevant, and I'm not saying Tennessee's going to go to Atlanta. I'm not saying that Tennessee's going to go out here and win an SEC championship, but I'm telling you that people are taking notice. Tennessee is nationally relevant, and it's going to start with that Pitt game because a lot of people think that's going to be a close ball game. And I'm putting it out there. I've been saying it for weeks. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to triple down on it. Tennessee is going to take it to Pitt in week 2. We're going to roll into that Florida game with something to prove. It's time for Josh Heupel to establish his dominance over Florida. Florida has a real chance coming into that game with 2 losses. A loss to Utah and a loss to Kentucky. What better time to go ahead and put a 3rd loss on them with Josh Heupel's second matchup against the Gators? But the national media, they're taking notice. Let's go look at 24/7 Sports again, projecting college football's 10 best offenses heading into 2022. You can see there again, ranked number 2, right up there at the top. Tennessee Volunteers, again, nationally relevant. When is the last time we've gone into a season and people are talking about Tennessee, whether it be offense, defense, special teams? I don't care if they're talking about the water boy. Tennessee is never at the top when it comes to the national media. But here we are, 24/7 Sports, projecting the top 10 best offenses in 2022. Josh Heupel, Hinden Hooker, this Tennessee football team right up there at the top at number 2. A team that averaged almost 40 points a game last year. How much better is that offense going to be in 2022? Yep, you got to play both sides of the ball. We got to be better on defense. Got to be more efficient on 3rd down. I get it. But when you're putting up over 40 points a game, it's going to be hard for teams like South Carolina, hard for teams like Kentucky. Can you keep up? Can you keep your foot on the gas for 60 minutes with Tennessee putting up 40 points a game? Let's hear what 24/7 Sports had to say about Hinden Hooker, Josh Heupel, this offense heading into 2022. It says here, one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the country. Tennessee quarterback Hinden Hooker was statistically dominant as a junior for the Volunteers, finishing with 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions for an offense that averaged nearly 3 plays per minute, the highest in college football. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about that. They're going to talk about that 3 plays per minute. They're going to talk about up-tempo, going fast, getting an advantage over that defense. The first thing that's going to come up is Ole Miss, the fainting goats. Faking injuries to slowing down this offense. Does Josh Heupel have an answer to that? Because that's going to be the big question, because you're going to see more teams do it. You're going to see more teams do it going into this second year with Josh Heupel in the SEC. You're going to have to find a way to deal with that in this second season. It says here, Josh Heupel has mentioned this offseason the confidence he has in the quarterback room in Knoxville with Joe Milton behind Hinden Hooker, and believes this offense can be nearly impossible to contain when it's clicking on all cylinders. That sounds very similar. That sounds very similar to the comments that Greg McElroy made. Almost unstoppable. Josh Heupel feels this offense is nearly impossible to contain when clicking on all cylinders. Cedric Tillman is a true number 1 on the outside, and if Jalen Hyatt performs at the expectation level of his coaching staff, Tennessee has 2 legitimate field stretchers that should rank among the SEC's leaders in receiving yards and total touchdowns. How about that? Talking about Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt being your 2 leading receivers. No mention of Brew McCoy. No mention of Brew McCoy. What does Brew McCoy bring to the table for this football team in 2022? It was good to see Eric Kane practice report over at VAWLS today talking about Brew McCoy and seeing what the coaching staff, what Coach Pope had to say about Brew McCoy. Said he's getting there, and the things that he does, you can't coach. You can't teach. That's what Kelsey Pope had to say today at the media appearance. Brew McCoy does things that you can't teach. Is he going to be in shape? Can he grasp this playbook? I think Jalen Hyatt's going to have a big-time year, boys. I think Jalen Hyatt is going to have a monster year. If Brew McCoy just gives you a little something, if he gives you a little something with that athleticism, with his athletic ability, number 1 athlete in the class of 2019, if he just gives you a little something, this offense could be very special in year 2 under Josh Heupel. Hit that comment section. What do you guys think? Again, getting a lot of national recognition. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything until we kick off on September the 1st. But usually it's you and I. Usually it is the Talkin' VAWLS faithful that are sitting here talking about expectations and hype and excitement. But the national media, the talking heads, are taking notice of what Josh Heupel's doing down there in Knoxville. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. You got to go check out brand new merchandise. Just dropped about 30 minutes ago. Go check it out. You guys asked for it. For the fans, by the fans means something. You guys wanted a Talkin' VAWLS mustard shirt. So here it is officially. You can go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS to check out all the merchandise. But look at that logo. You zoom in, it looks very familiar. Very familiar logo. A lot of interesting little tidbits in that logo when you zoom in close on it. But again, go check it out, bonfire.com/store/TalkinVols. Any and all support, greatly appreciated. Thank you, as always, to the members of the channel. If you want to jump on for the fan call-in show next Wednesday, again, 7 p.m. Eastern, 20 minutes with Eric Kane, then we're going to jump into the fan call-in show. Make sure you're a member of the channel. You can do that down below. Just hit that join button. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin' Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.